I need to be honest with you. For years, I felt completely hijacked by my own emotions. I'd have these sudden storms of anger or these thick fogs of anxiety that would roll in out of nowhere, and I'd lose control. I would say things I didn't mean, make decisions out of fear, and then spend hours, sometimes days, beating myself up for it. I was trapped in this cycle, and I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was just too emotional or weak. But then, I stumbled upon a piece of information that honestly changed everything for me. It was a revelation so simple, yet so profound, that it became the first anchor I used to pull myself out of the storm. And today, I want to share that journey with you. My 90-second revelation. It started when I learned something that seemed almost too simple to be true. Every emotion, that raw physical feeling, is just a chemical reaction in the body that lasts for only about 90 seconds. I was skeptical. 90 seconds? My anger or anxiety could last for hours. But here was the catch I learned. After those 90 seconds, the chemical reaction is over. If I was still feeling it, it was because my thoughts were re-triggering the loop. I was the one keeping the feeling alive by replaying the story in my head. So I decided to test it. The next time I felt that hot surge of anger building in my chest, instead of fighting it or reacting to it, I did something different. I just noticed it. I said to myself, okay, anger is here. I feel it. And I looked at my watch and started counting. The first 30 seconds were intense, but as I approached the 90-second mark, I felt it happen. The raw physical power of the emotion started to fade. It was like a wave cresting and then losing its force on the shore. What was left was just the story, the thought. And for the first time, I realized I could separate myself from that story. That was the beginning of my freedom. Part 1. How I started reframing my thoughts. This 90-second rule was a game changer, but it only solved half the problem. The story was still there. I realized my pain wasn't coming from the event itself, but from the gap between what I expected and what happened. So I started practicing what I now call reframing. When I was rejected for a project I desperately wanted, my automatic thought was, I failed. I'm not good enough. It was a gut punch, but I consciously stopped myself and searched for a new frame. I told myself, this isn't failure. I'm collecting data. I just learned what they're looking for, and now I'm better prepared for the next win. When a friendship ended painfully, instead of, I was abandoned, I reframed it to, this chapter closed and taught me exactly what I need in a friendship moving forward. This wasn't me being fake positive. It was me being precise. It was me shifting from being the victim of my life's events to being the architect of my responses. Part 2. Building my emotional first aid kit. In the middle of an emotional storm, my rational brain would just shut down. I couldn't remember any of these cool techniques. That's when I realized I needed an emergency plan. I had a first aid kit for a cut, but nothing for a mental breakdown. So I literally built one. I opened the Notes app on my phone and created a list called Emergency, Open Now. It has saved me more times than I can count. Let me tell you what's in mine. My physical reset, 20 jumping jacks. It sounds silly, but it's impossible to ruminate when you're out of breath. It forces my body and mind into a new state. My sensory anchor, the smell of peppermint oil. I keep a small bottle on my desk. One deep inhale cuts through the mental fog and grounds me in the here and now. My connection point, a pre-written text to one specific friend. It says, hey, red alert. Need a friendly ear for a minute. No advice needed. He gets it every time. This kit is my autopilot. I built it when I was calm, so I can rely on it when I'm in chaos. Part 3. How I break the rumination loop. My biggest demon used to be rumination, that obsessive mental replay. I'd lie awake for hours replaying an awkward conversation or a mistake I made. I thought if I thought about it enough, I could solve it. I was wrong. I was just digging myself deeper. The secret I learned was this. You cannot think your way out of overthinking. You have to act your way out. Action is a pattern interrupt. I remember one night spiraling about something I said at work. I felt trapped in my head. I forced myself to get up, go to the kitchen, and just wash one dish. It was a simple, mindless task, but it broke the spell. It got me out of my head and into my body. Now, whenever I feel that loop starting, I act. I change rooms, I stretch, I organize my desk. It works every single time. Part 4. The weird trick of talking to myself. This next one felt really strange when I first tried it, but it's become one of my most powerful tools. I started talking to myself like I was a wise, kind friend, and I use my own name. Instead of a panicked inner voice screaming, "I can't handle this," I'd stop, take a breath, and say, sometimes out loud, "Michael, you've been here before. You're strong. You'll get through this." Using my own name creates this tiny bit of distance. It's like I'm stepping outside of the chaos and coaching myself through it. It turns the frantic noise of emotion into calm, clear guidance. It sounds crazy, but try it. It's a game changer. Part 5. My journey to an anti-fragile mindset. I used to think the goal was just to be resilient, to bounce back from stress. But then I discovered the idea of being anti-fragile. It's a mindset where I don't just survive stress, I actually use it to get stronger. I realized my mind could be trained like a muscle, so I started introducing tiny, voluntary doses of discomfort into my life. These are my mental reps. I started ending my showers with 30 seconds of cold water. I started having the difficult conversations I'd been avoiding. I practiced saying no to things that weren't a priority. Each small act of embracing discomfort was like adding a new layer of invisible armor. It taught my nervous system, I can handle this. It expanded my capacity for hardship, so when real, involuntary stress hit, I was so much more prepared. Part 6. The paradox that holds me together. The one philosophy that ties all of this together for me is what's known as the Stockdale paradox. It comes from an admiral who survived years as a POW. His secret was holding two conflicting ideas at once. 1. I must confront the most brutal facts of my reality. I don't lie to myself. I acknowledge the pain, the fear, the difficulty. 2. And I must maintain an unshakable faith that I will prevail in the end. This is the mindset that has gotten me through my darkest times. It's not blind optimism, it's hope with its eyes wide open. It's looking into the storm, acknowledging its power, and still knowing deep in my bones that I will find my way to the other side. My final thought and my invitation to you. So, here's what I've learned on this journey. My emotions are just weather. They pass through me, but they are not me. My job isn't to stop the rain, it's to learn how to be a better sailor and remember that the sun will come out again. I'm not broken. I was just never taught how to navigate my own inner world. I'm not asking you to master all of this overnight. That's not how it works. I'm inviting you to take the same first step I did. Choose one thing, but if you want to do the single most practical thing that helped me, do this right now. Take 2 minutes and build the first draft of your emotional first aid kit. Open your notes app. Write down one physical reset, one sensory anchor, and one person to contact. This was the first concrete step I took to become my own rescuer. If you feel comfortable, share one thing you're putting in your kit in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. Thank you for letting me share my story with you. Goodbye.